call this meeting of the Caldwell County Board of Education to order. We want to welcome you to the August 12th, 2012 meeting. We know that school is actually the early college and the middle college have already started back, and the teachers will be reporting next week and students 2 weeks from today. So school is just around the corner, and we hope that everybody's enjoyed a long and very wonderful summer with your family. So we're going to start getting pretty busy here. It's been a little slow for some time, so we're going to really start getting busy in the next few weeks here. But I wanted to introduce a couple people that are here. We have County Commissioner Mike LaBrose in the back here, if he would stand. And Mike, we're glad you're here with us tonight. And we also have Sheriff Alan Jones. Thank you all for being here. And next thing on the agenda is invocation, but let me just briefly mention, some of you may have heard the mayor of Lenore's son passed away over the weekend. He and my son were best of friends, and it's a tough time for them. They're our next door neighbor, and I was over there a good bit yesterday, and it's a very tough time, so you might want to remember them in your prayers. Let's go ahead and have our invocation. May we pray. Our Heavenly Father, we give thanks on this day, for all your many blessings, for the opportunities to experience sharing with our family, our friends, and all those that we come in contact with. We ask for wisdom and guidance as we live each day. As a new school year is ready to begin, we ask your blessings upon our school system, our students, teachers, administrators, staff, and all that work so hard every day to provide a safe, caring, learning environment. May we all strive to always do our best and to know that you are always with us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Next, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight, it's going to be led by Dylan Laws, a 10th grade student, and Ethan Laws, 4th grade student. They are the children of Mark and Lori Laws. So if y'all will come forward, and everyone please stand. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dylan and Ethan. You might note that we have a couple board members missing tonight. Mrs. Dottie Darcy is not here. She is being a grandmother in Cleveland, Ohio. She just recently became a grandmother and is up there experiencing that at this time. And Mrs. Coffey, Linda Coffey, is out of town at a meeting. So we're the ones that are here tonight. So we're glad to see each of you, though. Next is the approval of the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to add an amendment to the agenda to add an item 12, a closed session, to discuss litigation pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143, 318, 11A3. And that would be number 12, item number 12, and that would bump item 13 and 14, or the current 12 and 13 back 2 slots.
Okay, do I have a motion that we approve the agenda for the evening as amended?
I move, Mr. Chairman, that we approve the agenda as amended.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, you have had in front of you an opportunity, board members, to look at the July 15th, 2013 regular school board meeting. and to look over the minutes. Do I hear a motion that we approve the minutes of the July 15th meeting?
Mr. Chairman, make a motion we approve the minutes of the July 15th, 2013 meeting.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second the motion.
Anyone have any comments or corrections? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we always look forward to the honors and recognition, and at this time, I'd like to call Mrs. Libby Brown to come forward, the Community Relations Director, and she'll be reading these out, and the board members will move down front so we can congratulate those receiving awards.
Thank you, Chairman Pendle and Board of Education and Dr. Stone. I'll give you a few minutes to come down because it's a special night, as you'll see, as we get into our honors and recognition. We're going to start with Skills USA. A couple of months ago, we had all of our North Carolina champions here. We actually had 14 from this county to go to the state competition. 14 we awarded in first, second, or third place, and we actually now have one to award for a national winner. Zachary Blevins. And Zachary is at the Career Center Middle College, and he was awarded third place at the national level in electrical construction, wiring, and we are so proud of Zachary and Brian Smith, principal at Career Center Middle College, and Frida Parker. So Frida, if you want to come forward and join Zachary. We had a team of students go to the nationals, and we're very proud of Zachary winning third place at the national level.
Also valedictorian in this class, too.
Okay, thank you, and valedictorian. So, congratulations to Zach and the Career Center Middle College. Great representation at the national level. Again, we have students who have competed at the national level. Some of the most highly ranked academic students from across the nation gathered in Mobile, Alabama for the 33rd National Beta Club Convention. Among the brightest were state champions from South Caldwell High School who competed at the national level. So we have some congratulating to do to students at South Caldwell High School. We'll start with North Carolina Beta English champion and South Caldwell High School senior Jonah Ferris won second place in the National Beta English competition. North Carolina Beta State Champion in spelling, Carrie Burgess, a sophomore at South Caldwell High School, placed fourth in the Beta National Spelling Competition. So is she here with us tonight, Jonathan? Okay, thank you. It is summer still. And then we have sophomore at South Caldwell High School placed fourth. No, I'm sorry, senior Meredith Hall, North Carolina Beta Math Champion, and she placed fifth in the National Mathematics Competition. So Meredith Hall, who is Julie Hall's daughter, is with us tonight. Although South Caldwell has placed in a variety of academic subjects at the National Beta Club Convention before, this is the first time that South Caldwell has placed in multiple events at a single convention. So we're very proud of South Caldwell, one of only 7 schools nationwide to place in 3 or more competitions. So we're very proud of you guys and South Caldwell. And Principal Mike Peak is here, and I know he's proud of the students.
Very proud.
Very proud. Thank you.
Some of them are leaving me heading to college.
I know. But you have prepared them well.
Yes.
two for them. Congratulations to Caldwell County Schools Finance Department for being awarded both the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for 2010-2011 by the Government Finance Office Association and the Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting for the fiscal year 2010-2011 by the Association of School Business Officials. This is the 10th, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is this 11-12, Carla? Okay, this is 11-12 for the 11-12 school year. This is the 10th consecutive year that the Caldwell County School System Finance Department has been the recipient of these noble awards. Carla Miller is Finance Director, and I know you have a few of your team members here tonight from the Finance Department. So, Carla, if you'd like to come over and introduce your team members as well and their title. It never gets old, does it?
It's not, never. We'll take any award they'll give us. We have 3 representatives from the Finance Department here tonight. First was Erica Ashley, our Accounts Payable Specialist. Next is Donna Anderson, our Accountant, and Bonnie Caudle is our Accounting Specialist. We also have Linda Young, who's a payroll specialist and isn't with us tonight, Naomi Gilbert, who's a payroll specialist and isn't with us tonight, and Tina Wright, who is our purchasing specialist and wasn't able to make it tonight. So it's a hard-working group of ladies.
Thank you.
So many certificates back on that wall.
Yeah. Next, I have for you something a little unusual, but if it doesn't stir the emotion, you know, we're just going to check you out before you leave this room, because this is a very emotional story that we're going to share with you this evening. And it actually involves 3 of our young men from High Brighton High School. It's not uncommon to have a student who has been involved in a life-changing experience, but it's a rarity to have 3 during the same summer in the same high school to be identified as someone's hero. That is descriptive of the 3 young men being recognized tonight for their heroic acts of saving lives. We'll begin with High Brighton High School juniors, William Kent and Coleman Clark, for saving 2 people from drowning on Sunset Beach. When you hear these 2 young men who have been best friends since 3rd grade share this emotional experience, you realize the danger they placed themselves as they responded to pleas of help. These typical young men were enjoying a family vacation, throwing a football in the waves on a beautiful summer's day when they responded to adults who were dangerously entrapped in a riptide. As they roped arms and struggled with crashing waves and braced against the moving ocean floor, sometimes they disappeared, the ocean floor, because of the depth, they rescued at least 2 adults from a fatal end. We are so proud of their courage and heroic acts of rescue, never abandoning the attempt to save lives, as William Kent performed CPR that he learned from his Boy Scout training until emergency responders arrived. We are so proud of you, and symbolically, William, what are you wearing tonight?
This is a tie that I got at Judge McLean's funeral. They had all his ties on the table, and everybody that was in attendance could grab one. So I'm wearing this in honor of him.
Thank you. And this was, Judge McLean was from Wilkesboro, and he was also there on the beach. He had just arrived to Sunset. He'd only been on the beach about 10 minutes, and he went in also to rescue some of those caught in the riptide, but he did not survive. So we are so proud of you, and I know your family, will all of his family members please stand up? the William Kent family and also the Coleman Clark family who are here tonight. We are so proud. Just proud of what you have done, just your display of respect for life and your courageous acts. Dr. Stone, would you like to say a few words to these two young men?
Well, I had the pleasure of having these two young men on profiles this morning, and so I had the 15-minute story of how they actually saved lives. It's quite impressive. It's most impressive the fact that these are two young men who represent the best of Caldwell County. To hear them tell the story, they put their own lives at risk by going in to rescue others. So if that's not the epitome of just what they teach in Boy Scouts to be prepared, or what it is to be a good citizen and to be just a good all-around person, I was truly impressed. It's a moving story. If you get a chance to sit with them for about 15 to 20 minutes, let them tell you so you can also feel what it was like to feel that current go out from under you and as you struggle to try to bring someone to surface and to save a life. So, you know, to the family, I want to thank you very much for these young men. This is certainly a role model, but it's also a testimony to the training that they've received from you as well, that they would put others above themselves. So just a heartwarming story. So I am just extremely pleased that these two young men are part of Caldwell County Schools and their families are a part as well. So my hat's off to you fellas, and I am certainly hoping if I'm ever at a beach, you're there as well. So, but a job well done, and Caldwell County Schools is extremely proud of you and your families, and thank you for what you did. Do either one of you want to say anything? Yeah. William, are you sure?
I think with the name Clark and Kent, these guys are super.
Perfect. Would you like to get a family picture?
Come on up, families, if you don't mind.
Yes,
Come on up and
that'd be a
take
good idea.
picture
David,
of
you want to
They're-
join them?
They are because of who you are.
David Caldwell, principal from High Brighton High School. And then I want to want you to say a few remarks after we bring up the other young man. Okay.
All right. We'll try to get everybody. Let's see. Come on down this way a little bit. William is usually the talker. He's like Ron.
Sit right there, yeah, just leave your head just like that. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to ask him to speak after this young man. Okay. We have three. Remember I said at the beginning we have three. So we are also equally as proud of Logan McGlamory, Senior. And Logan, if you want to come up, take the spotlight. You deserve it. At High Brighton High School, who also performed CPR during a family event this summer and helped to save a life. So I've talked to his father, who also assisted with this, and they were at your sister's wedding. Is that correct, Logan? It was at your sister's wedding. And the DJ, this was at the reception, and the DJ was feeling sickly, uncomfortable, having chest pains. He left the area where most people were, and then apparently it was just obvious he was in pain. Was he unconscious by the time you got there, or he was unconscious? So when Logan discovered him, he was unconscious and immediately started performing CPR. I think you said he died. And so actually between the efforts of you, Logan, and your father, you actually brought him back. So I said, where did you learn that skill? In the Caldwell County Schools? Right. So we are just proud of you And the three of you are someone's hero who will never forget you. You will always, you can always be comforted in knowing someone, a stranger, or someone you really weren't familiar with before, will never forget you or your face for doing this heroic act. So we're very pleased and happy and proud of you, and I know your family. Would your family? I know you're accompanied by many friends and family, the sheriff, his family. Come on, everybody.
You'll make him more comfortable.
Yeah. Yes, please.
I just want to say something as well. I was at this wedding. The gentleman had a massive heart attack. And thanks to Logan, his dad, and one of our other neighbors, he survived. But I also talked to the sheriff of Wichita County about you two gentlemen from the sheriff's conference a week and a half ago. He wanted me to personally say thank you, commend you for the job you do. Keep up the good work, and when you turn 21, come see
Do you have another again? Yeah, I took both. Okay.
Okay.
And Megan, this picture will be sent to you all at the news conference tomorrow, so we want to definitely see sometime this week a story about these three young men. Okay? We're going to send you the picture, so there's no reason for these three young men not to be front and center of the news topic.
Yeah. Well, I think David, did you want to say something about these three young men?
I would just say this, you who know me would know that I'm rarely speechless. I'm speechless. I'm truly speechless. And we're all very proud of you. We're proud of your families. And we're proud of High Brighton. And I think Dr. Stone summed it up for all of us. We're just extremely proud of you. And I'm proud to have you in my school. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a great night to be at a Board of Education meeting. Thank you.
Absolutely. And we know that many of you may want to leave. This will be an appropriate time. I do want to mention that Mrs. Brown, in addition to Mrs. Darcy, she's a grandmother now as well, just in the last week or so. So we have a couple new grandmothers here. Thank you for being here this evening. Have a safe trip home. Next on the agenda is public comment, and we do have two requests this evening. And as is customary, the board normally takes this as information. And also we have Mr. Blair, who will keep time on this. We do have a 3-minute period of time there. And I'm going to take these in the order that I have them here in the stack. So our first comment will come from Derek Maltba.
information before his? Would it be all right if we brought it in the order that it was?
Sure. Go ahead.
Thanks.
Mrs. Hass.
I also have a slideshow to go with it that will fit with his.
Ms. Ash, would you like me to give you like a 30-second warning at the end if you like?
I'll try to talk fast, but be slow-handed if you will.
Good evening, Board and Dr. Stone. Tonight, I would like to make a comment on Agenda Item 8A, State Budget Impact, and how the budget decisions and/or messages sent from Raleigh is reflected in the current situation at Lower Creek Elementary School with the cancellation of single-gender classes, a parent choice program. For the Board, I have these handouts. They're also what's playing right now on the program, but if you'd like to have them for your convenience to review later. These are comments made by parents and students who have gone through this program. The new state education budget clearly sends the message that parents' right to choose their children's education is and will be a top priority for the state of North Carolina under this General Assembly. Examples from this budget include the vouchers and the expansion of charter schools, and also House Bill 435, which has to do with the grading of districts for parents' information. By accident, and by that I mean not by official announcement from the school system, we learned of the decision to cancel the single-gender program in mid-July. The reasons that were given for this decision was that Title IX forbids having the classes in the current form. Lower Creek's hands were tied. This was an education center problem or decision. The administration at Lower Creek assumes that this group of boys would not benefit from this program, and the decision was made under the assumption parents weren't interested. There was not enough interest. In recent communication with Caldwell County Schools Administration, it has been discerned that actually this program does fit under Title I. It does comply with Title I and with No Child Left Behind. It is also established that Lower Creek's hands are not tied. This is not a mandate from the county office that this program be canceled. And we as parents reject the notion that a school administrator who, by her self-admission, says she doesn't have complete knowledge of the single-gender program enough to explain it well to parents would be the better judge than the parents to know whether or not this program would fit their child. So the only question left is there parent interest? With only the initial brochures sent out asking parents to state intent, a whopping 58% opted into this program and 28% opted out. That left 14% of parents yet to make it their intent. This preliminary finding defies the claim that there was no parent interest. Parents in this county that support single-gender choice are parents that are striving to work within the public school system. We see this program abruptly axed, as it was also in the case for Hudson Elementary, and it forces us to consider these parent choices that the state has now given us, which would be, can I finish 2 sentences? Which would be charter schools. The message our legislators have sent to us passing this current budget is that Raleigh believes and gives its vote of confidence to North Carolina parents that we know and will choose options that are best educationally for our children. My hope is that Lower Creek and Caldwell County schools will have that same confidence in us and restore the single-gender option. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hassan. Mr. Maltman?
I wish the CPR guys hadn't left. I might pass out speaking in public. But in 1863 in Gettysburg, there was a consecration service called. There was a man asked to speak who had a lot of public appeal, a great orator, and he was a congressman and governor. At the same time, after learning that he was going to speak, the president announced that he was going to come and speak as well at Gettysburg. And of course, the committee's like, oh, wow, the president's coming. We have to ask him to speak as well. Of course, the president felt very ill-prepared for his speech. He felt as if the crowd was going to hate it. He was very worried about giving this speech. Now, this great orator, his name was Edward Everett. And I would guess that most of us don't remember his name. And I would definitely guess that most of us don't have a clue as to what he said, even though he spoke for 1 hour and 57 minutes. However, the president, who was Abraham Lincoln, gave the Gettysburg Address, and none of us will ever forget that address. So I hope that you will remember what I say in the next 2 minutes, because I feel that choice is an important element for parents, for their children and education. 2 matters that I'd like to discuss are related to as Malia just mentioned, related to the state budget and vouchers and charter schools is. One, I want to thank the board for being open and creative in allowing single-gender classrooms. That is to be commended, and that's a great choice, I think, for parents. The other thing I'd like to do is encourage the board to maintain a way to manage the results of these classes going forward and to keep choices available for parents and students. My daughter was in the pilot program at Laurel Creek Elementary School, my oldest daughter. She grew academically. She also grew socially in all areas. I have another daughter that's a rising 5th grader this year, and she was looking forward to her all-girls 5th grade class. So we were a little disappointed when we learned through the grapevine that may not be a choice this year. We realized that there were 58 to 61% of upcoming 5th graders that were interested initially without an information meeting. We think that number will increase as we move forward. But I guess there's just 2 main points that I want to make to the board. Thank you for being creative and open to new ways for students to learn. We will be disappointed if a choice is taken away from us, but we would love to make sure that we never miss another opportunity in the future for parents to have a choice. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Malpa, and we appreciate the comments of both Mrs. Hass and Mr. Malpa. We will move on with the agenda. I'm going to turn it over at this point to our superintendent, Dr. Steve Stone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. There should be a page coming up. I wanted to briefly bring some information to the board and to the audience about the state budget. I've got a couple of bullet points, and I wanted to hit on those. When we did the administrative retreat, I called it the good, bad, the ugly, and the okay. Well, what I have included here, if I can find my copy, is some of the highlights of the state budget for Caldwell County schools, and particularly for K-12 education in general. Some of the good things that came out of the General Assembly's legislation this year, and I do want to give kudos to our General Assembly for doing a couple of these things. I really do, and I want to give kudos to our governor as well for his initiative in the pre-K part. One of the big things was the elimination of the discretionary reduction. As you know, that's about $3 million for Caldwell County schools, and we've been trying to get that taken out of the budget for some time. So the General Assembly did eliminate that. Under Governor McCrory's leadership, they did increase the pre-K slots of 2,500 across the state. Caldwell County will probably pick up about 25 to 30 of those slots. We are opening 2 new sites, and there are still vacancies in these sites at Bayton Elementary this year for a pre-K program, as well as an additional program at Gamewell Elementary. And we're doing some renovations at Whitnall. So we are anticipating about 25 to 30 additional slots available. The other 3 items are some additional monies flowing from the state. We're very excited about this, and I think the sheriff will be as well. There's $9 million. We don't have the details yet for security measures. These are SRO officers for middle and elementary schools, as well as some cameras, safety arms, those kinds of things, security. It does require a match, and I think the SROs are $2 from the state for $1 from the county. Mr. LeBrose, that does require that we find the money that we did not have in the budget for those items. We can't supplant, but we'll be, as soon as we get that information, we'll be very interested in that. We would like to expand our SROs. I don't know how much of the $9 million they'll give us, but we'll go for whatever we can get. There also is $18 million for a 3rd grade reading camp. The Senate pushed through the Senate. There's a requirement now that 3rd graders pass the end of grade test, or they have to attend a 3rd grade reading camp. We were very worried about where that money was going to come from. The state did step up and provide that. And then there's $12 million for digital learning that we'll need to get some details from the state. Some of the bad things, and people may disagree with me on this one, but tenure for staff will be eliminated by the year 2018. That's for all staff members, as it was for principals a couple years ago when it was eliminated for them. Very disappointed under the item, the 2nd bullet, and that's the master pay will be eliminated for people who do not have that or not being paid for that by, I think it's April the 1st, 2014. So that means all those folks who are already into a year or a year and a half of their master's work, this is really going to be a kind of a really kicker, that they won't be able to receive that master's pay. The law says that you must be paid on that scale by April the 1st, I believe. So that's going to hurt a lot of our folks who are going back for their master's degree. North Carolina Teaching Fellows has been eliminated. We do rely on North Carolina Teaching Fellows. We have several in this county. They tend to want to come back home, and that we certainly are disappointed that that's gone. No raises for state employees, and that's not just teachers, but that's every state employee. For everyone across the state, there are 5 additional vacation days that must be used during the school year, but I know for all state employees, not just teachers and teacher assistants, but that's something that hadn't happened for a couple years. Last year they did have a 1.2, but it's been without a raise for a number of years. 21% cut in teacher assistants, which for Caldwell County Schools is 30 positions. 77% cut in textbooks, which again for Caldwell County Schools is $634,000. You can pretty much say there's no textbook money out there, so the textbooks that we have will continue to be used for some time. Instructional supplies, this is really going to hurt when teachers get back. 51% cut to that, or $374,000. We'll be asking our new grants writer to be looking for some funding for that. We'll try to help as much as we can. This General Assembly also reduced the teacher allotments to Caldwell County Schools. We lost 43 teaching positions, even though our enrollment is projected to go up next year. They did that through class size increases by 1, 2, and possibly 3 in the high schools, additional students in the classroom. So that's really going to impact soon. Of course, the $11 million, which our guest spoke about in choice, the $11 million for vouchers for students who are in the public schools currently, but who meet a certain threshold and can go to have a $44,200 credit to attend a private school. And then again, instructional support staff, these are our guidance counselors, media specialists, were cut by 2 positions in Caldwell County Schools. So we're still getting information from the Department of Public Instruction, but some good in the state budget as well as some things that really do hurt teacher morale. I am really worried about the profession of teaching and where it's going to be going. The incentive to become a teacher is becoming less and less in the great state of North Carolina. So I'm hoping that as the General Assembly gets some additional sales tax flows as the economy picks up, that they'll certainly make education a priority in their next budget. But that's pretty much the budget in a nutshell. You want me to keep on going, Mr. Chairman?
That's fine.
All right. We are looking at item for action 8B, which is the Board Policy Manual 2000. This has to do with board operations. And Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we have received no public comment on the 2000 series, so I would like to recommend that we approve on final reading Board Policy Series 2000 Board Management.
Do I hear a motion that we approve Policy Series 2000 on board operations that's been on the table for a 1-month comment period?
Mr. Chairman, I move that Policy Series 2000 Board Operations be approved.
Second.
Any questions? Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's one more slide I wanted to show on the state budget, if you will indulge me to go backwards just a little bit. And this is more for the benefit of the audience and people who may be watching this on YouTube. I wanted you to see this chart, and I'll be very brief describing it, but there is basically, on one side you have the per pupil allotment by the state. This does not include anything that Michael Bros and the county commissioners give us, but the state on the left axis, and on the right you have the number of students who are enrolled in the public schools of North Carolina, and then down at the bottom the year. And then through each column you have the source of revenue coming out of that per pupil allotment. And you'll see in 2008, 2009, I'm looking at the pink, that is almost $5,700 per child provided by the state. A little bit more provided. That blue is federal ARA money, a little bit more provided by that. You'll see what happened in 2009. The state part of the per pupil allotment fell to a little bit over $5,200, down from the $5,700. Most of that additional money was picked up by ARA and stabilization. You'll see that trend continuing in 2010, 2011. It got better in 2011. You see the stabilization money went away. We still had some ARA money. And you'll see if you're following that blue line, you'll see that's the population of students in the public schools of North Carolina. It continues to add about 17,000 a year or more. There was a dip one year in that first 2009, 2010. What I wanted to show you from this, though, is that the state's contribution of that per pupil allotment has actually been going down. And so it's a little disheartening when you hear conflicting stories about how much the state is contributing to the per pupil allotment, when it's actually down to $5,426 from the state. when they were at 2008, 2009, a little bit more than 5,700 perhaps. So just so you'll see, the population of North Carolina continues to increase in its public schools, but the amount of the state budget per pupil allotment continues to decrease. So just wanted to show you that. All right, item B1B, which is policy 3228, 4313, and 7321, responsible use of personally owned devices. Mr. Chairman, we have had this out, members of the board, we've had this out for 1 month comment period. We have received 2 comments. One from a member of the public who said this is a very good idea. Go ahead and let the kids bring those in. It's a great way to enhance what they already have and they're already using in school. We did have one parent who was concerned that it will create some inequities, that a child who doesn't have an iPhone or who doesn't have that iPad, if the others are bringing it to school, then again you'll have that old issue of the haves and the have-nots, of some students not having and versus the ones who do. We are aware of that. We've always been aware of the have and the have-nots in this county. And what we would do is, of course, we would open up more of our own devices for those students. Now, that's not going to get away from the stigma of a child not being able to bring an iPhone, but whatever we have, it would give us a chance for our iPads and those kinds of things to be distributed a little bit more widely. So we can't do anything about that, but the parent was very concerned about that, and it's a valid concern, as well as students going to sites that they shouldn't go to. If they are on our website or through our wireless network, of course it will be controlled. We have filters. If they do go through their telephone, their 3G or their 4G, I'm not sure there's a 5G yet, but have a little bit of a problem there because those aren't filtered by us. So the parent wanted to share that concern with us. Given all that, I would like to recommend that we do approve the board policy 3328, 4313, 7321. And those 3 numbers just means it's going to be in 3 different areas of the board policy manual.
Do I hear a motion that we approve policy 3228, 4313, and 7321 as they relate to responsible use of personally owned devices?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve the board policies 3228, 4313, and 7321, responsible use of personal owned devices.
Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
Any questions or comments?
Well, one of the things I think is important for the public to know that even though we're allowing responsible use of these devices, it does not mean that we are relinquishing our right to inspect those and to monitor those while they have those on school properties.
And to confiscate if they were abused.
Exactly.
And I think we probably need to make sure that principals impress upon teachers to watch this and keep tight control on this. Spending on technology has been going down, so this is maybe one way that we can compensate to some degree for that. But we are going to have to be very vigilant in how we control this.
One of the other things too that we've learned recently in some of our seminars is how it can be used as an advantage too in the classroom too, and we don't want to miss out on that.
Absolutely. Any other comments, questions?
And at the same time, teachers aren't losing control. They can manage how these are going to be used. They can't just be used anyway, in any time that the students feel like using these devices. The teachers will still have the authority over the usage.
When I was in school, if I didn't know a word, I'd look it up in the dictionary. Now we don't have dictionaries, it's looked up on your iPhone. So
Google it.
It would make the class go quicker, I think, and more smooth.
Any other comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My last item for action is to put on 1 month comment period board policy 4326, which is the random drug screening policy. There's some major revisions to this, but basically 4326 explains our position on voluntary participation in the random drug screening program for all athletes and student drivers. It also contains the general guidelines, the data collection methods, and specific detailed instructions for a consistent implementation of the district-wide program. So I'd like to recommend that the 4326 be placed on a 1 month comment period, and it is, of course, the random drug screening policy.
Do I hear a motion that we place policy 4326, random drug screening for a 1-month comment period?
Mr. Chairman, I move that policy 4326, random drug screening, be placed on 1-month public comment period.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any questions? Any comments? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My last item, I thought that was my last, but I have one more, may be important to the three folks here tonight, is administrative recommendations. And with these 3 recommendations, we will have a complete staff of administrators for the 2013-14 school year. So I'd like to do these individually, if I may. And if you are here, Jeffrey, are you? Did I see Jeffrey? Maybe? No, Jeffrey's not here. But I would like to recommend Jeffrey Mayo as Assistant Principal for West Caldwell High School for a 2-year contract effective August the 13th, 2013. Mr. Mayo comes by way of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg School System as a Dean of Students. He's also served here locally at the Eckerd Youth Camp in Boomer and has some wonderful recommendations, and I'd like to recommend him for a 2-year contract, Assistant Principal, West Caldwell High School, August 13, 2013.
Okay, do I hear a motion that we approve Jeffrey Mayo as Assistant Principal at West Caldwell High School for a 2-year contract beginning on August 13, 2013?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion we approve Jeffrey Mayo, Assistant Principal, West Caldwell High School, for a 2-year contract.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations to Mr. Mayo.
Yes, we'll get him here next time. I would also like to recommend Katie Gardner, and I know Katie is here, for the Assistant Principal of South Caldwell High School for a 2-year term effective August 13, 2013. Katie is certainly no stranger to Caldwell County Schools. She currently serves as a math teacher at High Brighton High School. She's been there since 2007. She has experience in a number of ways, not only teacher, and has served the county well. So I would like to recommend Katie Gardner, Assistant Principal, South Caldwell High School, for a 2-year term effective August 13, 2013.
Do I hear a motion that we approve Katie Garner as the Assistant Principal at South Caldwell High School for a 2-year contract beginning on the 13th of August this year?
Mr. Chair, I move that we appoint Katie Garner as the new Assistant Principal at South Caldwell High School effective tomorrow, August 13th, for a 2-year contract.
Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Congratulations.
Motion passes.
Katie, do you want to speak briefly?
Congratulations, Katie.
Just a few people hardly need the microphone. Just want to thank the board and the superintendents. I've had a really good tenure at High Brighton High School. I'm blessed to live and work in this county and work with such great people. So I will miss my High Brighton family, but I'm very excited about being a Spartan. And thank you to Mike Peak as well for giving me that opportunity. And I have a great team at South Caldwell. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Our last appointment, administrative appointment, will be Anna Crook as an Assistant Principal at Gamewell Elementary School for a 2-year term beginning, 2-year contract beginning on August 13th, 2013. Anna is currently an instructional facilitator working with the middle schools. You may remember she was served at William Lenore for a period of time, as well as West Caldwell High School. And in 2010, we celebrated with her as the Region 7 Teacher of the Year. So I would like to recommend Anna Crook as Assistant Principal, Gamewell Elementary School, 2-year contract beginning August 13, 2013.
Do I hear a motion that we approve Anna Crook as the Assistant Principal at Gamewell Elementary School for a 2-year contract beginning, sorry to say at midnight tonight, but on August the 13th?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve Anna Crook as Gamewell Elementary School's new Assistant Principal, effective tomorrow, August 13th.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Anna?
Congratulations, Anna.
No, can't get by with that.
I missed that.
We saw you back there.
I tried to hide behind the pole.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Dr. Stone, I would really like to thank you for this opportunity. I'm so excited to work at Gamewell Elementary School. I know that Ms. Frizzell and I are going to make a wonderful team. I'm very sad to leave my Department of Educational Programs and Services. I have loved working in that department as a middle school facilitator, but I know this is a neat opportunity for me, and I hope to do my very best there. And I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to each of the assistant principals named tonight. We'll look forward to seeing you in the schools in the coming weeks. Next on the agenda is our Associate Superintendent for Human Resource Services, Dr. Trish Johnson.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Dr. Stone, I have several items for your attention this evening, starting with Exhibit 5. Exhibit 5 is usual and customary personnel items that are provided for your information only, requiring no action. Exhibit 6 includes usual and customary personnel items that require action. I respectfully recommend approval of these items as they have been presented to you.
Okay, do I hear a motion that we approve the usual and customary personnel matters that you've had an opportunity to review? Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move we approve the usual and customary personnel action items as presented tonight.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, and I'd like to move to Exhibit 7. Student transfers. Since your last board meeting, we had a request for 43 transfers. All 43 meet established board criteria. Therefore, we recommend the approval of the 43 transfers. If approved tonight, that will bring our total transfers for the 2013-14 school year to 422. I respectfully recommend approval of the student transfers.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the 2013-2014 student transfers as presented?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the student transfers as presented.
Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
Any questions? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson.
And I have to say, you see my name on the agenda. I was trying to take her job this time. She showed up, so tonight, so she gets to do it. She does it better than I do. You all, I was really worried last time they were going to ask me questions, Trish, so I'm glad you're back.
Next on the agenda, we have Dr. Jeff Church, Assistant Superintendent for Auxiliary Services.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Stone, you have before you Exhibit 8. It's a lottery application for debt service on qualified school construction bond. That was a federal stimulus bond that we received a couple years ago, and just working to pay that 15-year bond back. I respectfully request that you approve this lottery application.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the lottery application as presented, QSCB 1 debt service for Hudson Elementary, Gamewell Elementary, and Sawmills Elementary?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the lottery application for Hudson Elementary, Gamewell, and Sawmills.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. Exhibit 9 is QSCB 2 debt service. This is the second round of the federal stimulus dollars. This was air conditioning projects at Davenport Elementary, Gamewell Middle, and Hudson Middle. And I respectfully request that you approve this lottery application for debt service as well.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the lottery application for QSCB 2 debt service for Davenport Elementary, Gamewell Middle, and Hudson Middle School?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the lottery application QSCB 2 debt service for Davenport, Gamewell Middle, and Hudson.
Okay, thank you. And do we have a second?
I second the motion.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. Exhibit 10 are bids. This is a project that we're working on at West Caldwell to repair the fire escape out behind the building. The low bidder was Brushy Mountain Builders, and that was at $38,000. So I respectfully request that you accept these bids as presented.
Do I hear a motion that we accept the bids as presented for concrete replacement project at West Caldwell High School?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the bids for West Caldwell concrete replacement project be approved as presented.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Dr. Church. Next item on the agenda is each year we do the superintendent's evaluation. And so we have done that. We have calculated. I've had an opportunity to talk to Dr. Stone about that. And I have also taken an excerpt from each of the school board members in their summary. So I'm going to read some of those comments here at this time. Dr. Stone is a joy to work with. His leadership has positioned Caldwell County Schools in its best position ever. Caldwell County Schools are fortunate to have Dr. Stone, a superintendent who is so committed to children and supportive of staff in reaching for our goals of excellence. Dr. Stone has many strengths that have made a very significant impact on our school system. His relationships throughout the education community have gained great support for the schools in our district. Dr. Stone has created a strong community spirit between the school board, teachers, students, and the staff. Dr. Stone is very active and involved in community events and activities. Dr. Stone is a great ambassador for our school system locally and statewide. Dr. Stone is not satisfied with the many successes of our school system and works daily to achieve even higher goals. We are very fortunate to have a superintendent of such great vision and a sincere determination to make our school system the best for the children, teachers, and staff of Caldwell County. Dr. Stone is a valuable asset to Caldwell County Schools. Under his leadership, we have progressed beyond our expectations. He has every child's interest while managing all the employees of Caldwell County Schools. Great job. So we're very proud of you.
Well, you know, I'm going to have to get that framed so I can give it to my mom. She still has a different opinion, so I do appreciate that. I want to also say that I should be the one giving you all the thanks for giving me the opportunity to work in Caldwell County. Been here 7 years, and I have absolutely enjoyed the 7 years. This is a great place to work. It's great because of the board. It's great because of our principals and our staff and our teachers. You couldn't find a better school system. So it truly, instead of you thanking me, I should be thanking you for this opportunity. It is the best job in the world. I truly do enjoy it, but it's because of the people in this district and the people of this county. Phenomenal people. And thank you very much for the vote of confidence. You're welcome.
Mr. Chair, I move that the board go into closed session for litigation pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A3.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. I don't,
There
there will be no further business after we come back. So we're glad you're here tonight, and our next school board meeting will be September the 9th. Thank you for being here.